Hello, I am Brenda, and this is my husband John. And we're going to do a photography conversation. I don't know,
Yeah,
photography video.
work.
And we're going to use this magazine to start with. I picked this up the other day at, was it Barnes and Noble, I
I
think?
think so.
And it has several tips in here for portrait photographers. John is a seasoned photographer, and I am a new one that we could discuss each thing that they talk about. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. So the first thing they're saying, well, of course, know your kids. It says it's essential that you know your camera and lighting equipment inside and out. While shooting a portrait, you need to concentrate fully on your subject and not be distracted by any technical issues. Practice setting up and using your kit again and again until it becomes second nature.
So this is another great example of, you know, when you're looking at cameras and you're looking at camera, uh, you know, when you're a young photographer or a novice photographer and you're first starting out, the knee-jerk reaction is to say, I need the big full frame body that all the pros are using. And what many people fail to realize is that the image quality that comes out of a lot of the professional level cameras can be found exactly the same in a lot of the mid-level bodies. Really, the biggest difference between those mid-level bodies and stuff like that go, anywhere in the, let's say, $1,500, $2,000 range on up to somewhere around the $4,000 range. The only difference between those and the larger, what are commonly referred to as flagship bodies, is the ability to customize them for certain shooting applications. So, for example, I currently have the Nikon. I'm a Nikon shooter. I have the Nikon Z8 and the Z9. The reason I shoot with those two bodies is mainly because I do a lot of photos and I do a lot of video. The Z8 is the perfect complement to the Z9 because it's basically the exact same thing as the Z9 in terms of customization, just in a smaller form factor with a few less buttons, right? But what a lot of people don't realize is that Nikon also has the Z7 II, which the 45 megapixel sensor that's in that camera is the same one that's in the Z8 and it's the same one that's in the Z9, right? And there's a price difference of about, I don't know, $2,000-$3,000. So it's important to understand that it's not always the top of the level, top line cameras that are going to get you the best results. It's just that they're uh, more experienced photographers are able to customize them to the way that we shoot.
So, do you think that when you're first starting out, do you think it'd be more important to focus on a camera body or specific lenses, or do you think there's something else that people really should maybe spend their money on instead?
Well, I think that the biggest thing to realize right now in this day and age, with everything kind of shifting to mirrorless, um, all of the major camera brands make fantastic cameras. And I'm talking Nikon, Sony, Canon, and even Fuji and Pentax also have great offerings as well. They're a little bit more into the niche categories and whatnot, but really, I'd say the best thing for a novice photographer to do is to get with some of your friends who have cameras and try a couple different ones out, because it's really going to depend on what's the most comfortable thing to you. For me, I shoot Nikon because when I started out on a film camera way back in the early 90s, I started on a Minolta and then moved over to a Canon AE1 and then from a Canon AE1 to a Nikon FM2. And I had a couple lenses for the Nikon FM2 that were still just kind of hanging around in the mid 2000s when I started taking photography seriously, and I picked up the Nikon D300 and I could still use those lenses with that camera system. So it's important to understand when you're choosing a camera body for the first time, that you go with something that feels comfortable in your hands, and that the most importantly, the menu system works kind of the way that your brain works.
That's important.
All of my all the menu systems are a lot different.
There's a lot there.
I've played around with a couple of my friends trying to show them, how to access different settings in their menus, and it's very backwards to me because I'm so used to Nikon, having shot on digital Nikons for over 15 years now. Their menu systems have stayed relatively the same, so I can work through them very quickly. But if you hand me a Canon or a Sony, it'd take me a little bit longer to get through. I could probably figure it out, but it would take me a little bit longer to get through those different things. The biggest thing that you're going to be investing in is the lens system, because over time you're going to upgrade camera bodies. Camera bodies are going to come and go. Your lenses are what are going to last you the longest amount of time, and that's why it's always more important to invest more money in lenses than it is to invest more money in camera bodies, because that camera body is only going to last you, maybe 3 to 5 years in a professional application. Um, if you're an advanced amateur, you might hang on to them a little bit longer. If you're a very seasoned professional, they might only hang around for a year or two before you're replacing it with something else to, better your workflow. But it's the lenses that are going to be the thing that are going to kind of stick around with
That's
you.
the real investment.
Yeah, that's the real investment, is the lenses.
All right. If you have any thoughts or you want to talk about whatever camera you have, please leave us some comments and let us know what you think and what cameras you use and why you love them. I think that's it.